They did it again. WWE just proved they have absolutely no idea how to book their top stars. And honestly, I'm furious. Roman Reigns, the man who carried this company on his back for over 1,200 days as champion, finally comes face to face with CM Punk, the most controversial figure in wrestling today. And what does WWE do? They let Austin Theory, of all people, interrupt the moment. Austin Theory. Let that sink in. This could have been the defining moment of 2025, the collision that wrestling fans have been manifesting since Punk returned, and creative decides that what this segment really needs is a guy whose biggest accomplishment is taking selfies and losing matches. If you're not angry about this, you're not paying attention, and I need you to sound off in the comments right now because this disrespect cannot stand. Let me paint the picture of what actually went down on Raw, and trust me, the more I talk about this, the more insane it becomes. Roman Reigns walks out, and you can feel the electricity. The tribal chief doesn't show up on Raw often anymore. This isn't just another appearance. This is Roman making a statement, asserting his dominance on a brand that frankly hasn't been the same since he moved to SmackDown. His music hits, Paul Heyman is by his side with that smirk that tells you something big is about to happen, and Roman has one target in mind. CM Punk. Now, Punk's been running his mouth for weeks. Ever since he came back to WWE after that whole AEW disaster, he's been acting like he's the savior of professional wrestling. He's been taking shots at everyone, claiming he's the best in the world, saying he deserves to main event WrestleMania, and basically positioning himself as the guy who's going to take down whoever stands in his way. And Roman's not about to let some guy who spent years trashing WWE and then came crawling back act like he owns the place. This is personal. This is about legacy. This is about who really runs this industry. The promo starts and Roman is in rare form. He's not yelling, he's not losing his cool. He's calm, calculated, dangerous. He acknowledges the crowd, but he makes it clear he's not there for their approval. He's there for Punk. Roman talks about how he's been watching Punk since he returned, watching him pretend like he never left, like he never said all those hateful things about WWE, about the locker room, about the fans. And Roman calls him out for it. He says Punk is a hypocrite, a sellout, and most importantly, he's not on Roman's level. Never has been, never will be. The crowd is absolutely nuclear at this point. You've got half the arena chanting for Roman, half chanting for Punk, and the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. This is what wrestling is supposed to be. Real animosity. Real stakes. Two of the biggest egos in the business about to collide. And then Roman the arena goes black. He issues the static challenge. Hits the speakers. One-on-one. And then Punk that unmistakable sound. He tells Punk to come out right now and explodes like through the arena, or prove to everyone that he's exactly what Roman thinks he is. The place is no action. Punk's walking down that ramp with purpose, microphone already in hand, and you can see it in his eyes that he's ready to go. This is the Punk we've been waiting for. Not the corporate Punk, not the playing it safe Punk. This is the straight-edge savior who built his career on saying exactly what everyone else was too scared to say. Punk gets in the ring, and for a moment they just stare at each other. Roman with the championship legacy. Punk with the chip on his shoulder the size of Chicago. Heyman's looking nervous because even he knows that when Punk has a microphone, anything can happen. And then Punk speaks. He tells Roman that he respects what he's accomplished, but respect doesn't mean fear. Punk says he's been fighting his entire career to get moments like this, and he's not about to back down from Roman Reigns or anyone else. He accepts the challenge, but he doesn't just accept it. The crowd is losing their minds. He raises the stakes. This is money. Punk says he wants Roman at his absolute best. This is the kind of dream match that sells out stadiums no excuses, no asterisks, no questions. You can already see the video packages, the build, the promos. This is WrestleMania main event material, and everyone knows it. Roman steps forward, Punk steps forward, and they're nose to nose, neither man backing down. The electricity in that building is something you can feel even through the screen. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, Austin Theory's music hits. I'm going to let that sit for a second because I need you to understand how completely this deflated what should have been an iconic moment. Austin Theory, the guy who's been floundering in the mid-card for months. The guy who lost the United States Championship and hasn't done anything remotely significant since. This is who WWE decided needed to be inserted into this moment. Not Seth Rollins. Not Cody Rhodes. Not even someone like Drew McIntyre who could actually add something to this dynamic. Austin Theory. Theory comes strutting out with his phone, taking selfies like this is some kind of joke. He rambles
gets
about
on the
deserving
microphone and starts
opportunities
running
and
his mouth
respect about how everyone's forgotten about him.
The crowd
About
starts
how he's
chanting
Mr.
for
Money
him
in
to
the
shut
bank.
up.
Oh wait,
Even the
he's
live
not
audience
anymore.
knows this
He's a
is
former
wrong.
champion.
This
Oh wait,
isn't
he
heat,
lost
this
that
is
too.
go
away heat. This is change the channel energy. Roman and Punk are standing there, and you can see the confusion on their faces. Not the good kind of confusion that adds intrigue. The bad kind. The why am I sharing a ring with this guy right now kind. Theory keeps talking, saying he deserves to be in the match, that it should be a triple threat, that he's going to prove he belongs at the top. And here's the thing, in a vacuum, there's nothing wrong with a young guy trying to insert himself into a main event picture. That's classic wrestling. But timing is everything, and this was the absolute worst time. Let me ask you this, and I really want you to answer in the comments. When was the last time Austin Theory won a meaningful match? When was the last time he had a memorable promo? When was the last time you thought, man, I really want to see Austin Theory in this spot? I'll wait. The silence is deafening. And that's the problem. WWE is trying to force Theory into a position that he hasn't earned, and they're doing it at the expense of what could have been one of the greatest segments in Raw history. Theory challenges both of them, and Adam Pearce comes out to make it official. A triple threat match later that night. Roman versus Punk versus Theory.
Sure, it's still
and
food,
just like that,
but
the
you're
dream
not
match
exactly
is
excited
diluted.
about it.
The one-on-one confrontation
later
we've been dying
show
to see is
and
now
predictably
cluttered with a third
it's a
wheel
mess.
that nobody asked
Not
for.
because the wrestling
It's
is
like
bad,
ordering
Roman
a
and
gourmet
Punk are
steak
too
and
good
the
for
restaurant
that.
decides
But
to
because
throw
the
a hot
booking is
dog on the plate.
nonsensical.
Theory spends most of the match trying to steal pins, running away, and basically being a nuisance. He's not adding drama, he's adding annoyance. Every time Roman and Punk are about to have a moment, Theory interferes. Every time they're building to something meaningful, Theory breaks it up. It's like watching a masterpiece being painted and someone keeps throwing random colors on the canvas. The finish is even worse. Theory hits his finisher on Punk while Roman is down outside the ring, and he actually gets the pin. Austin Theory pins CM Punk in a match that also featured Roman Reigns. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Austin Theory pinned CM Punk. The same CM Punk who's supposed to be this returning megastar. The same CM Punk who we're supposed to believe is on Roman's level. And he gets pinned by Austin Theory in his first major Raw match back in this storyline. Do you understand how damaging this is? Do you understand what this does to Punk's credibility? More importantly, do you understand what this does to the potential Reigns versus Punk match? Now, if they run that match straight up, there's always going to be the shadow of, well, Theory beat Punk, so how tough can Punk really be? WWE just kneecapped their own storyline before it even got started. He became the final boss at the highest level. Here's what really
Punk
gets me
returned
heated
after
about
7
this
years
whole
of exile.
situation. Roman Reigns spent years building the bloodline
and has been cutting
elevating
promos
the
that
entire
remind
roster
everyone
around
why
him,
he's one of the
having
greatest
classic
talkers
matches
in
with
wrestling
everyone
history.
from Kevin Owens
These two
to
men
Sami
have
Zayn to
earned the
Cody
right
Rhodes to have a proper, meaningful feud. They've earned the right to have that WrestleMania moment without it being cluttered with people who aren't on their level. And before anyone says I'm burying Austin Theory or being unfair to him, let me be clear, this isn't about Theory as a person or even Theory as a wrestler. The kid has talent. He's athletic, he looks the part, and with the right booking, he could be something special down the line. But down the line is the key phrase. He's not ready for this spot right now. He hasn't done the work. He hasn't had the matches. He hasn't cut the promos. He hasn't connected with the audience in a way that makes them care when he's on screen. And forcing him into this position isn't going to help him. If anything, it's going to make people resent him because they'll associate him with ruining what could have been great. Let me ask you another question for the comments. Do you think Austin Theory is ready to be in the main event picture with Roman Reigns and CM Punk? Be honest. Because I think if we're all being real with ourselves, the answer is no. And that's okay. Not everyone needs to be in the main event at the same time. There's nothing wrong with building someone slowly, giving them wins, giving them credibility, letting the audience grow to love them or hate them organically. But WWE has this obsession with trying to create stars overnight, and it never works. Even if they didn't want to cheer him, greatness, they respected the journey. Think about how Roman was built. That's how you build a star. He wasn't immediately Theory hasn't had that journey. He was in the Shield, he learned, he grew, he held failures, he had successes. But has he earned them he turned heel and became the head of the table? Has he had that moment that makes you say, okay, this guy is the real deal? Not yet. What's even more frustrating is that WWE has done this before. They've taken dream matches and muddied them up with unnecessary additions. How many times have we seen a one-on-one feud turn into a multi-person match because creative couldn't help themselves? And almost every time it makes the story worse, not better. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes you just need to let two incredible performers do their thing without interference. The worst part about all of this is what happens next. After Theory wins the match, he's celebrating like he just won the Super Bowl. Roman and Punk are both looking frustrated, which is fine, that's good character work. They're supposed to be angry. But then the show ends with Theory standing tall, and that image is what people are left with. Not Roman's challenge. Not Punk's acceptance. Not the dream match potential. Just Austin Theory with his hand raised, grinning at the camera. That's your lasting impression of Raw. And here's where the booking gets even more confusing. The next week on Raw, Theory is back to being in random tag matches and segments that don't mean anything. So what was the point? If you're going to have him pin CM Punk what this means for Roman's character, because this is actually pretty significant. Shouldn't that Roman be the start of something bigger? When he does, but no, it's treated like just another match. But he didn't lose another segment. Punk lost, and that tells you Roman everything you need to know about how scatterbrained the creative process has become, and that keeps his aura intact. But here's the problem: being in a match where Austin Theory gets the pin still damages him by association. Roman Reigns should not be in matches where Austin Theory is the one walking out victorious. Period. It doesn't matter if Roman didn't take the pin. The optics are bad. For Punk, this is even worse. He's trying to reestablish himself as a main event player. He needs wins. He needs momentum. He needs the audience to believe that he's not just back for a nostalgia run, but that he's actually here to compete at the highest level. Taking a loss to Austin Theory in your big showcase match does the opposite of that. It makes Punk look weak. It makes him look like maybe he's not as good as he used to be. And that's not the story WWE should be telling with CM Punk right now. Let me get hypothetical for a minute. Imagine if this segment had gone differently. Imagine if Theory's music never hit. Imagine if Roman and Punk continued their face-off, maybe got physical, maybe brawled through the crowd, and Raw went off the air with security trying to separate them while both men are screaming that they're going to destroy each other. I know some people are going to defend this. Imagine the buzz they're going to say it's just one match. Imagine the social media reaction. They're trying to build new stars. Imagine how badly people would want to see that match. And to those people I say, when is it okay to be disappointed? We got Theory with a selfie stick. When is it okay to expect better? We're not asking for the moon here. We're asking for logical storytelling. We're asking for matches that make sense. We're asking for respect to be shown to the performers who have earned their spot. Is that really too much? Here's another question for the comments, and this one's important. What would you have done differently? If you were booking Raw that night, how would you have handled the Roman and Punk confrontation? Would you have kept it one-on-one? Would you have had someone else interrupt? Would you have just let them talk? I genuinely want to know because wrestling is subjective, and maybe I'm in the minority here. But I don't think I am. The reality is that WWE is sitting on a gold mine with Roman versus Punk, and they're treating it like it's just another feud. This should be treated like Rock versus Cena. This should be treated like Austin versus Hart. This should be WrestleMania-level importance from day one. Instead, it's getting the same treatment as any random Raw feud, and that's a tragedy. Both of these men deserve better. The fans deserve better. And honestly, even Austin Theory deserves better than being thrown into a situation where he's set up to be hated for all the wrong reasons. What happens to this feud now? Does WWE go back to Roman versus Punk one-on-one? Or is Theory permanently inserted into this storyline? Does this lead to a WrestleMania triple threat? Because if it does, there were so many better options. If WWE wanted to elevate a younger star themselves, why not have someone like Braun Breaker interrupt? We want to see who really is the best in the world. At least he's been booked like a monster, not confusion. He's been protected. But given WWE's track record lately, or what about Gunther? I'm not confident we're going to get what we want. Imagine Gunther walking down that ramp and telling both Roman and Punk that neither of them are on his level. That would be compelling. That would make sense. But Theory? It just doesn't fit. It's a square peg in a round hole, and everyone can see it except apparently the people making the decisions. This whole situation is emblematic of a larger problem in WWE right now. They have all the talent in the world. Their roster is stacked. The performers are incredible. But the booking, the creative decisions, the way stories are structured, it's inconsistent at best and baffling at worst. You'll get 3 weeks of brilliant television, and then something like this happens and you're reminded that maybe they don't have as firm a grasp on things as you thought. I want to believe that WWE will course correct. I want to believe that this was just a bump in the road and they'll get back to telling the Roman versus Punk story the right way. But they've burned us before. They've taken promising feuds and ran them into the ground. They've taken dream matches and made them nightmares. And until they prove otherwise, we have every right to be skeptical and frustrated. Drop your thoughts in the comments, so let me ask you one final question before we wrap completely deflated by this. Are you still excited about Roman Reigns? And if you're as angry as I am, Punk after everything that happened on Raw, share this video and let WWE know that we expect better. We deserve better. Roman and Punk deserve better. Even Austin Theory deserves better than being the third wheel in a feud that should be legendary. This could have been special, but instead, it's just